What's up guys, today I'm going to be playing out the WZ-121, Tier 10 Chinese medium tank. This is another exceptionally good vehicle. It's known for its 420 alpha gun on a medium tank. It has the same gun depression as a T-62A and very similar armor. So if you're looking for something that hits a bit harder than the T-62A but plays similarly otherwise, this is a pretty good choice. Make sure you guys stick around and watch the second recording in this video. The second game is really exciting, and if there's only one that you watch, you should definitely watch that one. As you can see though in that clip, this thing absolutely rips through enemy tanks with that alpha damage that it has. It also gets tungsten and adrenaline, which is an ongoing theme on this channel. Anything with those two consumables is pretty good. So if you are starting off playing this tank and you're struggling with its shell velocity, I think you can run improved gunpowder, and you can also run supercharged instead of the aim time booster, but again, this thing really relies on fully aiming in to hit its shots, so it is kind of important to just get used to that low shell velocity so that you can actually aim the gun fast. This tank's high alpha makes it deal with heavy tanks and tank destroyers very well, which helps you carry a lot of games that you might not be able to win with another medium tank. It also has pretty standard mobility for a medium. It's not exceptionally quick, but it's not exceptionally slow, but it also has a very good armor for a medium tank. The amount of armor this thing has combined with its 420 alpha damage, it makes it an absolute menace. As you can see with the tungsten there, I actually outrolled a Ho-Ri tank destroyer. And those two shots there were over 1,000 damage, so you can imagine how quickly you can rack up damage when you have a 7-second reload and you can do 1,000 damage in only 2 shots. This tank does best when someone else is creating a crossfire and you can poke out real quick while the enemy is distracted, take a shot, and then back into cover. You can try to create crossfire and flank with this thing, but this is a true brawling medium tank and you want to be towards the center of the map. Not the heavy tank side of the map, but you want to be close enough to the center that you can get to the next target as quickly as you can. There are times when it's absolutely necessary, but you really want to be leaving the crossfire creation to much more mobile tanks and light tanks that are designed to do that. This tank is also really good at fighting heavies because it can out-trade a lot of them, it can out-DPM them, and it can outmaneuver them. If you see this coming and you're in a heavy tank, be very careful. And sometimes players that aren't quite acquainted with this tank yet will let that happen because they might think it's just a standard medium. It really isn't. If this tank gets 2 or 3 shots into you, you're less than half HP at that point, and that's a problem. For the gun stats, your base DPM is almost 3,500 DPM. Basically, that means you get a high alpha damage gun with no disadvantages. When you have tungsten and adrenaline running, your DPM goes up to over 4,700. If you can deal with poor gun depression and poor movement dispersion, this tank is very dangerous. So here we are on Winter Malinovka, and I'm happy that I got this game because a lot of the games since the matchmaker change update, I haven't gotten anything exciting. They've usually been 7-0s either direction. I got a couple that weren't like that. You saw some previously little clips of them, but those weren't games that I played exceptionally in. This one I played pretty well in, so I'm happy that I actually got this on recording to show you guys. Just a side note, they are reverting back the matchmaker next update, fortunately, so games like this should be more common. They were trying to eliminate sweep games, and in my experience, I actually end up with more 7-0 sweeps, like I just said. I mean, the whole point was to not have that happen, and if there's more of those, they might as well revert it. They're not helping anybody in that case. So my initial position here was the middle of the map, because this position you can spot their heavy tank crossing, and if their heavy tanks go down to the medium side, so you can kind of see which direction their heavies go at the beginning of the game, which is really important because the heavies can't really flank or move from where they go. They usually stick to one side throughout the entire game. So we got some free shots into their Yag Tiger, and then we noticed their whole team is down in the bowl. So we're going to take advantage of anyone that's mispositioned in the middle here, but we're not going to stay here for too long because these guys are going to start killing our tanks that are down there, and then they're going to want to push out of it. And we don't want to be right on the edge so that they can easily push us when that happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to swing wide and flank their spawn and have hopefully our M103 drive up through middle here and also go through their spawn, but not be flanking. And I know I said earlier you're not going to want to create crossfire with this tank, but in the case of me playing with an M103 heavy tank, you are going to want to create the crossfire just because he's even worse at it than I am because his tank is even slower. The reason that I wanted to push their spawn instead of circling back and helping ours is because by the time I get to our spawn, our tanks are already going to be pretty much dead, and I'm not going to be able to help them. It's going to be pretty difficult, but I know I'm going to have to deal with that full HP E5 here. That being said, I will shoot this Sheridan because he's driving stupidly, and I'm not going to pass up free damage on a tank that's very mobile and can pop up anywhere and shoot me for over 600. Someone else kills the Sheridan, so now I can turn for this E5 and try to help our M103 get as much HP off of him as possible before they kill everybody in our spawn. I'm not gonna lie, this part I get really lucky. I should have taken a lot of damage here, and I wasn't paying attention to where the 183 was, but his aim was off and he managed to hit my track. This is where the big alpha damage helps me here. I can get those 2 shots out real quick, reposition, and I have a little bit of a longer reload, so I'm not wasting time with a reloaded shell while repositioning. I can reposition during the reload and then poke out and hit him for almost 500 damage, and then we make short work of that 183, and now this E5 knows he's in trouble. He makes a little bit of a mistake here, but as long as he plays hold down, there's not much that me and this M103 can do to him, because if we push into him and he's supported by that M60, we're simply not winning that fight. Here I'm telling the M103 to fall back because where the M60 was last spotted, he's about to come through where that 50 TP is and put the M103 in a crossfire. As soon as that happens, this E5 is going to stop playing so timid and actually peek out and start shooting him. I reverse out of the potential crossfire, but I think his tank is too slow to get out of there, or he doesn't realize what's about to happen. If I push for the M60, who's hold down right now, I would take way too much damage getting there and I would not win the game. So I decided to instead focus the E5. I tried to peek out just far enough to distract him from the M103 so that the M103 can do as much to the M60 as possible, but the E5 knows what to do and actually starts focusing our M103. After that happens and I see that he's trying to focus the M103, I go in on him and I can start to circle him and track him. Obviously I would have preferred if that track made him take damage too, but after he doesn't repair it, I know that he has no more repair kits, so now I can keep tracking him and know that aiming for these tracks is actually worth it. Unfortunately, our M103 dies, and our enemy E5 here gets his repair kit back and gets a shot into me. Now the M60 is coming around the corner, and I get one last shot into the E5, putting him on a one-shot. Now that the M60 comes in and rams himself down to a one-shot as well, I shoot him, but I low roll. Now I'm going to try to use the M60 as a shield between me and the E5, and as soon as the M60 bounces me, I'm going to go around the E5, kill him, and use him as cover to the M60. Now it's all down to penning the shot, which honestly is a very easy shot. Just load heat and shoot the turret ring. That's a perfect example of why mobility and armor is very important for carrying. If you have just one and not the other, you can't pull off situations like that, and that's why tanks like the WZ-121 are absolutely the best in the game for carrying. Next, I'll be trying to get some good games in the Chinese Tier 10 tank destroyer, the WZ-113 GFT, and then after that I'll try the heavy tank, the WZ-113. Those were both requested, and if you want your tank to be featured, just ask in the comments. The video after that is going to be comparing a bunch of Tier 8 German tank destroyers, so stay tuned if you're interested in any of these tanks. I appreciate you for watching to the end, and I hope you have a great day.